What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to today's video. It's been a hot minute since we've made a video on my channel. Kristen and I have been pumping out videos left and right on her channel. She's so close to 100,000 subscribers. She's at about 93,000 right now, and we're getting really close. We're trying to close in on that mark, and it's a cool goal to hit, to be able to build a channel and hit 100,000 subscribers. If you haven't seen on her channel, we got a new car. That's right. If you haven't seen it, you want to see more of this car, our new to us Lamborghini, you got to go to her channel and check out some of those videos. But today's video is going to be talking about cars. We've got to talk a little bit about, I think it's been on my channel before, it's definitely been on her channel, but we bought a car. Well, we're going to have to rewind this story a little bit because we've got so much drama to get into. Drama, potential lawsuits, stolen vehicles. So much has been happening behind the scenes that we've been keeping off social media, but we've been documenting it along the way, and I think today's the day we start to air out our dirty laundry. So let's get into it.
I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
All right, so join me, it's story time here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So, as I said in the beginning of the video, we have a lot of drama that we've got to kind of talk out. It's got to unfold itself a little bit. And I figured what better place to do it on YouTube and let all you guys hear what's been going on with us. And who doesn't love drama? So, if you're new to the channel, if you go back a few videos, I don't even know how many videos ago it would be on my channel. If you go on our Instagram, you go back on Kristen's channel, you'll see videos about our Ferrari California that we had. So that's what this video is about. You saw the thumbnail, you saw stolen, you saw drama. You're like, I'm gonna click this video. I wanna get invested in this story, so here we go. Remember back in the day when there wasn't like masks and 6 feet regulations amongst people, you know, the good old days. So back in the good old days of January, February, March, I believe it was like March 14th, I think it was. We went to a dealership. This is back when we lived in New Jersey, so we're rewinding a little bit here, but we lived in New Jersey. We went to a dealership in Pennsylvania, Hatfield, Pennsylvania. And that dealership, all of this stuff, you could see on social media. It's already been documented. When we bought the car, it was documented. I'll try to link everything in the description, and I always say that in videos, and I hate it afterwards because then I have to go rewatch the video and figure out what I said I was going to link, but I'll try to link everything down in the description if you want to follow along in detail. But we went to a place called Kelly Motor Cars. We bought a 2010 Ferrari California. It was black on black on black. There was black insides the black, carbon fiber everywhere. It was a really nice looking car. So the Ferrari California, it's a front engine Ferrari. So the engine's up in the front. A lot of times Ferraris are in the back. So some Ferrari purists will say it's not a real Ferrari because the engine's in the front. And usually those people that say that don't even have a Ferrari or never owned a Ferrari, so nuts. So anyway, it's a two-door Ferrari, but it has a back seat. It's a convertible, hardtop convertible. Really nice. I really dig them. I think they're pretty awesome cars. Great if you want to be able to put somebody in the back seat of a car. It's a very, very daily driver type of Ferrari. So anyway, we buy this car. And again, this was March 14th, I believe. And then, like 2 days later, COVID hits, and we get, the country goes on lockdown mode, right when we buy the car. We buy the car, bang, COVID lockdown. So when we bought the car, the dealer put dealer tags on it. And they said, just drive the car with the dealer tags home. You're gonna give us the sales tax and pay for everything. We're gonna register it in New Jersey where you live. And then New Jersey will send us the license plates, and we'll mail you the license plate. And then you take off our dealer tags, switch the license plates in your driveway, put the dealer tag in the envelope, and mail me the dealer tag back. And he's like, should have in about a week. So I was like, okay, perfect. I drive the car from Pennsylvania back to New Jersey with the dealer tags. I sit there, COVID happens, everybody kind of gets distracted, everything shuts down. That dealership shuts down, DMV shuts down, banks shut down, everything shuts down. You can't leave your house, COVID's running rampant. So we kind of ignored it, and in New Jersey, they were, it's a very liberal state, New Jersey, but like everywhere was severe lockdown. So we just kind of went about our life, and we lived our life. We drove the car. I think I put videos on Instagram driving the car during COVID. I was being a rebel. You weren't allowed out, but I took it out because I had a brand new Ferrari. new to me Ferrari. And I was like, I'm not gonna let it sit in the garage. So I was driving that all over the place. So anyway, months go by. I reached out to the dealership. I said, hey man, is this car, it still hasn't gotten registered. I didn't get the new license plates. I feel bad. I still have the dealer tags on the car. And he's like, that's fine. DMV's closed. Just keep the dealer tags on there. Keep rocking the car. When they come in, we'll send it to you. Just don't worry about it. So we let that go for months. In the process, we decided to list our house for sale. So we list our house for sale, sell it in 4 days, move to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We had a house built. So while we're having the house built, we're getting a mortgage on that, and our mortgage guy was like, hey man, any way you can back down some of that debt to income ratio thing you got going on? Because we started buying a bunch of cars. So we didn't know we were going to sell our house. That wasn't the plan. And so we sold the house. We had the Dodge Viper, we had the Ferrari, we had a brand new Mustang, we had a brand new Toyota Tacoma. So anyway, we were like, you know what, we don't really need all these cars right now. We were, trying to invest some money in the house. We wanted to buy a pool, we wanted to buy all this stuff for the house. So we said, you know what, let's sell the Mustang, which was at the time, I don't know, 4 years old, I think. It wasn't a brand new Mustang. So we're like, let's sell the Mustang, let's sell the Ferrari, consolidate all that down into one new Mustang. So we went in Myrtle Beach while we were down here. We went to Beach Ford in Myrtle Beach, and we ended up trading in the Ferrari and the Mustang, and we bought a new Mustang. So now we have one car payment, got rid of the other two cars. Took all that equity and went home with the equity and the new Mustang.
Hey fellas, look what I found in my pocket. Look, a year's salary right here. What I call them? Fun coupons. See that? A fun coupon.
This is where things get interesting. Everything went fine. And I will say this too. With the Ferrari, we financed it. And if anybody in the comments, if you say something dumb and say, if you can't afford to buy a car in cash, you don't deserve the car. If you say that, I know you're not a true investor and you're not that financially smart. So, we had the loan on the Ferrari, making our monthly payments every single month, never missed a payment, never late on a payment. Still had the dealer tags on the Ferrari. Traded it in to Beach Ford with the dealer tags still on the Ferrari. They said, what do you want us to do with the tags? I said, well, give me the license plates back because I'm going to mail them back to the guy I bought the car from because we don't need it anymore. And I said, eventually when I don't know what happens with the registration, but it never technically got registered to me yet, but I'm expecting license plates to come in the mail. I don't know if it's going to show up or not. So we trade in the Ferrari, trade in the Mustang, leave with a new Mustang. 3 months later, we get a phone call from Beach Ford. They say, hey, you guys need to come back into the dealership. My wife answered the phone on this. You need to come back into the dealership and you need to buy the Ferrari back. And so she was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, if you don't get down here right now and buy this Ferrari back, we're gonna raise hell on you. And I was like, whoa. So she hung up the phone. She was so upset. She was telling me, trying to explain what that phone conversation was. I didn't understand it. She didn't understand it. I was like, why do we have to buy the car back? She's like, I don't know. So we called them back. I said, what do you mean we have to buy the Ferrari back? And they said, well, there's no title for the car. And I said, what do you mean there's no title for the car? I said, sure there is. We had the bank, we had a loan on it, we had a bank, we were paying the bank accepted, whatever. So I said, you guys paid off the loan, right? And they're like, yeah. I said, well, then the bank's going to send you the title. And they're like, yeah, well, they didn't send us a title. So I called the bank. I said to them, hey, you guys, I was paying you for months and months and months and months. I said, I'm paying you all this money. I said, you guys don't have the title? And they're like, no, we never got it. And I was like, did you want to tell me that? Like, is there any policy in place that says maybe after 2 months we tell the person, hey, we still haven't got a title yet? But I guess it makes sense because DMV was closed. So they never could register the car. So the title never could go to the bank. So the bank just sat on it and ignored it. So now I haven't had this Ferrari in 3 months and I'm told I have to come buy it. So I was like, well, I don't know if that's necessarily the case because I'm about to close on this house and I can't go buy the car. Because let's think about this logically. If I have to go back into the dealership, I have a couple options. One, I can walk in there with all that cash, hand them the cash, and they give me back this car.
What these people think. Oh my God.
It's 300 in there. Make sure he gets the commission.
He get?
or I'd have to go to a bank, get a loan to get the car, and then the bank would give them the cash and I get the car. But no bank is going to give me a loan on a car at a dealership with no title. So therein lies the problem. I ended up calling New Jersey DMV. They had never gotten anything. Nothing ever went to them. What happened was the dealership in Pennsylvania used a company. They sent all the info to, the payments, the title, everything to. And apparently the bill of sale and the title, they had 2 different mileages on them. So 6 months later, after COVID kind of slowed down and things started to open up, they realized there was an issue. They kicked it all back to the dealership. The dealership got it and said, we have to get a new title for this. They ended up going through months and months of trying to get a new title. The new title apparently showed back up with the original owner, the previous owner of the Ferrari on it. So then they went to that guy and said, hey, you got to sign this title again because there's an issue with the title. We got to give it back to this guy. And that guy was like, I'm not signing it. I'm not doing it. And so they had to go to court, get a power of attorney, I guess. This is what I'm being told. Beach Ford keeps calling and saying, hey, we need the title, or you got to come buy the car. And I said, well, let's figure this out. A lot of you guys watching this might be like, well, technically you were in the wrong. You should have just went back and bought the car. You messed up. You traded in a car to them with no title. Until I tell you this part. I traded the car into Beach Ford. That car then got sold to a wholesaler. That wholesaler then took that car to an auction, sold that car at auction to another dealership. That dealership then took the car into their possession. That dealership then sold the car to a person. All of this happening, and then that person said, where's the title? And that dealership that ended up with the car said, oh, we don't know where the title is. So over time, that car ended up having to get returned to the dealership. That dealership had to return it back to the auction returned it back to the wholesaler returned it back to Beach Ford. And boom, the car ended up back in the lot. So after this car has gone through all these new owners and new companies that owned it, everything, I was like, well, I don't know if I necessarily want this car because I don't know what has happened to it in these 6 months since I've seen it last, and it's racked up all these extra miles, and who knows how people have driven it. So I ended up calling Pennsylvania Department of Motor Vehicle. We had to get them involved. They won't help me at all, won't give me any information because I'm not listed on the title. So I said to Pennsylvania DMV, I said, is there even a title? Is this car stolen? Has there ever been a title? Who's currently on the title? Is this title in the process of being fixed like I'm told it is? Pennsylvania DMV said, I can't tell you any of that information. They're like, you're not the owner. And I said, I am the owner. I bought the car. I've been paying for months on this car. I, in fact, traded this car into another dealership. How am I not at liberty to have any information? And they said, we can't disclose any information to you. And they said, we have to protect the owner. I said, well, why can't you protect me who bought this car from a dealership? And they wouldn't help us at all. So we had to get the Attorney General from Pennsylvania involved. And we had to go to their office and make a formal complaint with them to try to get some help and figure out where this is. So lo and behold, what do we do now? So now after about, I don't even know, over a year since this car's been out of my possession, the dealership said, we're at our wit's end. Something has to happen. They said, you come back in and either buy the car back for what you traded it in for, or else. And I didn't really know what or else meant, but all I know is I didn't want to get sued. Lo and behold, we contacted the dealership we bought it from, and after arguing with them for over a year, they decided to buy the car back for what I traded it in for over a year ago. But what happened with the economy and inflation? If you've been paying attention to the housing market, the exact same thing is happening to the car market right now. The prices of cars are going through the roof. So a car that was worth $70,000 a year ago is now worth $100,000 today. So Beach Ford has a car that they paid $70,000 for that's now worth $100,000 or more. So they just wanted this issue gone because there's nothing they can do about it. They can't trade it, they can't sell it, they can't do anything with it. They just have a car with no title. So, if all this stuff is true with the title issue, if it is getting fixed and it is coming back to dealership in Pennsylvania, that dealer decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and buy this car for $70,000. So they wired $70,000 to the dealership I traded it into, had a truck pick it up and drive it back to Pennsylvania, and now it's sitting back in their lot, apparently. Again, I don't know if any of this is true, this is just what I'm told. So once that title issue gets cleared up, that title is going to go right back to Pennsylvania to the dealership, and they're going to have clean title apparently on a car that they paid $70,000 for that's worth $100,000. So at the end of all this, who's the real winner? I mean, I didn't get sued. At the time, I was happy with what I traded it in for because I just needed to. It was just a matter of I was building a house and needed more money, and so I was happy with trading it in. Beach Ford thought they were getting a great deal on the car. Turns out they kind of got screwed for about a good year. But in the end, they ended up getting rid of the car for what they paid for it, so it wasn't a huge loss on their end either. And I think the real winner here was the original dealership in Pennsylvania, who ended up getting this car back for 70 grand, and they're going to end up most likely getting a title, I guess. I mean, I don't really know. It's not my problem anymore. But right now, there's a Ferrari California sitting there. But what I will say this, if you're thinking you're going to go in and squeak out this car and buy this thing, I sat down, and here's something I haven't done pretty much on any of my cars. Well, I did on this one, now that I know what's happening, is if you go back and look at your Carfax, it's interesting what you could really learn. So when I bought the car, I think what a lot of people are most curious about when they buy a car is on the Carfax, is it a clean Carfax? Has there been any accidents reported on the Carfax? How many owners have there been? Where did the car reside most of its life? So we bought the car. I looked at the Carfax. The Carfax had no accidents on it. It had like a bunch of previous owners, but on cars like that, that's actually common. A lot of times people buy things like Lamborghinis, Ferraris, they'll own it for maybe a year at most, 6 months, maybe a year and a half, and then usually trade them and get another one, and then they'll trade it lateral to another car, and they keep kind of flip-flopping cars, especially like we do. I go through cars, usually about a year is like the longest I keep a car. So there was a lot of owners on it, which I didn't really care that much. But just the other day I went through and I was really looking at that Carfax report again, and I was looking at, I took the car once to get serviced at a place called Maximo's in New Jersey, Long Branch, New Jersey. And it was just a place because I lived in New Jersey. I needed to take it and get it serviced. I got like oil change, spark plugs, tires rotated, whatever I did. So what caught my eye when I looked at the Carfax, I scrolled up and I saw when you take it to a place like that, like a place to work on your car, they'll usually enter it in the Carfax. So it said Maximo's. It said 2 new tires. And I was like, oh, I didn't get new tires on the car. And I looked in the year, was like 2016. I was like, this car went to Maximo's, the place in New Jersey, the same place I took it to, which was very random. I just took it to a place that serviced Ferraris and a lot of like high-end cars. So I was like, wow, somebody else took it there. So I was like, let me look. So usually places will enter the mileage. So this car ended up going to Maximo's back in like 2017, I think it was. And I was looking at the mileage all throughout the Carfax, and it ended up hitting like 32,000 miles. Then it hit like 34,000 miles. Then it hit like 43,000 miles. Then 46,000 miles. And in there, one of the things that Maximo's did to this car was they put a new gauge cluster in. So I guess the speedometer, all that stuff broke. They took that out and replaced it for whatever reason. So then at one point it says that the mileage hit 70,000 miles. And then there it says there's an issue, and I think that's where that issue was when I bought the car. So then it said 70,000 miles, then I bought the car, and when I bought the car, it had 30,000 miles on it. So when you go back up, and I guess that's my mistake, or I just didn't notice it, but neither did Beach Ford. So this car ended up hitting 32,000 miles, 34,000, 43,000, 46,000, and then 70, which could have been the clerical issue. Somebody could enter that by mistake. But then the mileage backs all the way back down to 30 again when I buy it. So tell me that's not a little bit crazy. So I'll throw the VIN number in the description too, so if you guys want to look it up. It's a little interesting if you sit and kind of break down that information. So here's what I would say at the end of all this video, if you're still watching. Look up the Carfax if you can. If you have any information on what all of this means, or you want to shoot me an email, I mean, it's all pointless at this point anyway. It's all kind of settled, at least in my eyes, or who knows, one day I'll get served for some reason about this car, but let me know what you think of the Carfax. I'm really interested to get other people's perspectives. And my other thing is, if you're an attorney or you know somebody that's an attorney that handles this type of situation, send them this video and ask them to sit down with their board and just listen to it and tell me what their feedback is, what they think of it. Or if you're an attorney, comment down below and comment your practice. Shout it out. Shout yourself out. Shout your attorney's office, where it's located, your phone number, in case anybody else is ever having an issue like this in the future. They might be able to contact you, maybe get some clients out of it, who knows. But otherwise, if you're an attorney, let me know your thoughts on this, or what you can do, or, imagine buying a car, and this is what blows my mind. Imagine going to a dealership and buying a car. and you drive it for 2 to 3 years making payments on it, and then you go trade it into a dealership on a new car, and you're driving your new car, and then that dealership calls you months later and they say, hey, that car that you traded into us has no title. The one that you bought from a dealership a while ago, yeah, it has no title. Come back and rebuy it. So now you're going to own 2 cars and make double payments. Could you imagine that? That's where I was. That's where me and Kristen were on this stupid Ferrari. So I think that's it. So that's it for the drama. I think when I make this video right now, I think this case is somewhat closed. Until somebody goes to that dealership and buys that Ferrari, they're in for a world of drama. Good luck with that. Make sure the title's in hand and it's accurate, and study that Carfax, because that Carfax is a little odd. I'm not saying anything is illegal in that Carfax, but there's a lot of questions I'd be asking before I ever retook ownership of that car. But again, if you guys like the Lambo, check it out, because we have a lot more to come with this thing in the next 3 months. There's so much going to be happening to this car. We're going to be modifying it a little bit. We're going to be doing some events with it. This car might end up in Miami in a few months. So if you're in the Miami area and you want to link up, let us know. So that's it. And I appreciate you guys for sitting down, sitting here drinking my Pedialyte, feeling a little bit under the weather, fighting a sinus infection. But hey, good news is we just hit 10,000 subscribers on the channel. So I'm super stoked about that. I appreciate all the love and support you guys give. And I hope you guys, if you're new to this channel, you made it all the way to the end of the video, hit the subscribe button. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, everybody.